Hey guys, this is Sando with another video. Wanted to give a update here on where I'm at in the patch here. I know there's been a little bit of a content drought from a couple other people I follow as well. It's been pretty hard navigating this patch here as far as season 1.5 here after the mid-season update with the slight armor changes. Wanted to go over a few things that have really been kind of bothering me and really my direction of the game as far as where to go, as far as the build ideas. There has been a few updates here, as you can probably notice in the gameplay back here. I have switched up the entire setup here to something I've been working on in the background and was able to get it fully set up. And I'm actually really surprised on how it's performing, and I think this may have been the missing key to everything, even though I've kind of heard it in the back of my mind and kind of used it before, but it's definitely working out. I did have a week-long trial of doing 300 con with the heavy setup, and yes, the survivability is there, and it just doesn't hit the same as far as having 200 con. The 200 con setup is definitely way more effective in my eyes here as far as knowing how to use it. You just have to read your situations a lot better, and you're not really going to like face tank everybody, which in this game here, I mean, nobody's really super tanky, so you can't really do that anyway. The thing is, with a lot of people still using light armor, they are really hard to catch, so you have to just really train yourself to not chase. You have to really kind of facilitate your role here, and that's kind of the things I was going over a couple times here as far as what is my role in the group, or if I'm playing solo, what is my role, where do I excel at, how can I excel at that better. I think the main thing that this build that I like playing really excels at is space control. I'm the last person that the opposing team should be able to push out of the space with proper team support. And as far as if a solo situation here, I should be able to support the Zerg or support the group or my team as much as possible by helping to control that space and helping to neutralize, slow, weaken, or disrupt and stagger the opposing healers or the opposing frontmen. They have another heavy person here. I should be able to disrupt them and be able to not let them kind of roam around freely. And I think once that kind of realization was made, you know, you're not going to be a one jack of all trades and master of none. If you really master one of those forms where you're most effective, then you can be a great addition to the team. I do believe that the game now, there is, as much as people hate to say it, the light armor mobility is very, you cannot chase. You're too punished in this game for trying to attack and being stuck to the ground that chasing is ineffective. You have to really just kind of predict and play in the future where they're going to be at, and then be able to counterattack. As much as people have asked me though, do I prefer a light armor meta or do I prefer the medium armor meta? I don't prefer any. I'd rather prefer a meta where it's more so equal, and I think we are getting to that place, but it's just a few things here where you're trying to do certain things and other classes can excel and come into your space at will, and that's the part that kind of gets me a little bit. So we try to basically negate that by being able to hold down space and control space, and once you kind of fill out that role and kind of facilitate everything in that role, then you will be much more effective. And that has been helping me out too a lot. So a couple of things that I have changed over the build here is I've gone for 7-piece refreshing ward with Shuriken Fort 5-piece on the body. And the only thing is that the amulet, I can't justify putting on refreshing ward. There's too many beneficial perks there on the amulet as you need, so it's only 7-piece at this time. I do have a shield with refreshing ward on it, but it doesn't really fit into the build, so I can't do full 8-piece, but it has been working out very well. As you can see from some of the gameplay in the background here, having your skills up to be as disruptive as possible especially when paired with a Great Axe Warhammer setup. I mean, the cooldowns are just insane. I mean, you can craft like almost 5 seconds back to back when you're in the actual pump fight. Moving on to more balanced fights, more average fights as you do see. You have your disruption abilities, which is the sword and shield, the shield dash, the shield rush for weekend. You have those abilities up a lot more at a time. That definitely helps out the playstyle a lot. If anything, your survivability is built into how long you have your skills up, which has been a big help. And I kind of overlooked how beneficial it would be until I actually tried it. So the main thing that got me trying it again was I tried the Shirking Heels set here, because that is, I know a lot of people are coming back in the meta with Shirking Heels, trying to craft Shirking Heels, Shirking Fort. I personally gave up on that a while ago here because it does seem to incur the heavy armor healing bonus as of the negative 30%. Same thing with the Manitos earring. It does get that negated, but with the Manitos earring, it is kind of a given. With the Shirking Heels here, without Shirking Fort on the same piece, is kind of a waste. So the next best thing for me would be Refreshing Ward and Shirking Fortification. Those pieces are solid. Like trying to craft them, they are pretty. You can hit them pretty often, but as far as selling them though, if you have those pieces and want to make money, man, they sell for a lot, because I guess that is the war meta here. Because I mean, if you could spam out those abilities, I mean, you could just keep a constant uptime on your abilities, and your disruption be able to hold your space pretty good. So I was trying it out. It was working pretty well. I have a couple clips here in the back here using that setup. Some at 300 con, some at 200 con, really 216. I really like the 200 con setup better. It's just, you're a lot more effective, and also too, it's the fact of when you hit somebody, you can make them back away. I know on paper the difference is not that much in damage, but man, it just feels like a completely new scenario when you have those set up there. We have them set up right, so I will say that as well. But yeah, so that'll be it for this video here. Just going to click your score update. Got a couple clips for you guys you can check out. Definitely try out some Refreshing Ward if you're a heavy set, because that really is the only thing that makes the heavy set really unique, is that you can take those hits and get those cooldown reductions. And I mean, you can see from the video, you can literally just spam skills and just be the king of your space. The main thing is you're trying to control the space and lock down for everybody else to kind of work around you. And once you start being very efficient at filling that role, then the build kind of just comes alive to like a whole new level. The thing is that this build does fall apart if you are heavily outnumbered and the rest of your team is not really taking up that open space that you're making for your team. It will fall apart. If that happens, then you just gotta reassess and see, okay, what I have to do to kind of make this a little bit better. But the new gameplay going forward has been more so team focused due to the changes that have been made in the game, and it's kind of going away from that solo perspective, but you still get a few breakaway fights here when it's like 1 or 2 people, but still it is pretty tough. You have to really play far above beyond your opponents here in order to make it come out on in favor of your end. So that'll be it for today's video. Take it easy, guys. Catch you later.